Ladies and gentlemen, this is a 10-round affair for the World Boxing Council Asia Continental Light Heavyweight Championship. Fighting out of the blue corner, the challenger with a professional record of 6 wins, 1 loss, and no draws. Hailing from Thailand, this is Rattawut Inter. And fighting out of the red corner with a professional record of 13 wins, 1 loss, and no draws. Hailing from Malaysia, he is the reigning, defending World Boxing Council Asia Continental Light Heavyweight Champion. This is Adli Hafidz. Supervisor for this bout, Major General Thongram Si Maka John Boon. Assistant Supervisor Third Tian Tong Ta Velakon. Judges ringside Visut Yingapakan, Chawang Krugate, Supap Boon Rawi. Referee in charge of the action, Tawut Plum Samran.
Okay, everybody, we will resume the action. We move on to fight number 12, and this is for the WBC Asia. Okay, referee giving his last final instructions. This is for the WBC Asia Continental Light Heavyweight title. Will be fought over 10 rounds if we go that far. In the red corner, we have Adli Hafidz against Rattawut Inter. Aggressive start now from Rattawut.
And we've got one of our matches of Southpaw versus Southpaw. The battle of the bodywork tends to be the case for these Southpaw matches. We've got a very long Adli and we've got a very short style of Rattawut. Rattawut going downstairs with that jab early on. A very nice move, especially when it's Southpaw against Southpaw. That jab tends to do very well to the body.
Both fighters taking their time to find their timing.
You can see with Adli just dancing around as well, doing a good job to dance around that jab, but he's got to be very careful he doesn't open himself up with that left hand dropping low, because he's very much open to a lead right hook of his opponent.
Rattawut though with an open guard. Overhand left though connects very well for Rattawut. Adli taking his time on the outside, trying to land that jab. Great footwork here from the Malaysian fighter.
Yeah, Adli doing a good job to hold the outside of the ring as well as the center. When you're a longer fighter and you've got that jab going for you, use the center of the ring to pivot around and then use the back of the ring to kind of be your safe space as well. So you use the center of the ring to be out of range and then use the ropes to dance away from danger. But once you're in central ring, start delivering those combinations as well.
Jab again from Rattawut to close the distance. So a good handle on this fight so far. In round 1, things starting to warm up a little bit between these two. Adli poised and calculated on the back foot, pouring out that jab. Rattawut with the feint, trying to land that clubbing overhand left again.
And as you said it, he stepped in and there was that short right hand through the middle that landed. Adli went into an orthodox position and landed a short right hand as his opponent stepped forward. Very nicely done by Adli. And this is where Adli needs to start just dancing with that jab. Keep that jab in the face of his opponent and set up that left hand.
Break up there from the referee in charge of the action. WBC officials have got to be the best boxing officials in the world. Very professional always.
And one of the best referees I've seen as well is this referee right now. He's very good. He's very calculated. I'm a big fan of him. I've always seen him do very well in these environments. And a beautiful left hand upstairs, as we were talking about. We was admiring the ref, but we should have been admiring that left hand landed by Rattawut. I'm not sure how Adli is still on his feet after taking that shot.
The question is, can Rattawut keep this pace up, Jim, for 10 rounds if he has to?
Both fighters look in incredible shape. They can definitely weather storms. But as we know with Rattawut, he's a very stiff, strong fighter as well. He knows how to take damage and survive.
Okay, that was the end of round 1. We're just going to take a quick peek into the corners of both fighters, get you the replays, and we'll give you round 2 shortly.
A very nice round for both of these fighters. We've got a very classic matchup as well. We've got southpaw against the southpaw, but what we do have as well is we've got a long-range fighter against a mid-range fighter as well. So it's interesting to see how the range is going to play a factor in this fight. We saw that moment, that right hand, that short right hand landed very nicely by Adli.
But Adli looks like he doesn't like having his feathers ruffled on the inside at all. Really wants to keep this fight on the outside.
And that's a good analogy to look at, because when you're a long-range fighter, you're usually used to just bullying people by staying on the outside, and you avoid stepping in that danger zone, which is in the middle. So definitely something that his opponent could probably use to his advantage.
So Adli's shaken up a lot in round 1. Let's see if he can turn the tide in round 2. Here we go.
A nice double jab to start the action, and what he needs to do is keep that double jab going and set up that left hand, and there it is, as we said it, Ali.
Double jab being pulled out by Adli, but not hitting Rattawut at all. The jabs the body did, though. Rattawut shaking it off, walking forward. He just wants to land, take as many punches as he can, Jimmy, in my opinion, to land that overhand left one more time.
Yeah, sometimes the jabs that don't land are still effective, and you're right. He's almost boxing like a Chavez, where he takes the shots to deliver the overhands himself. It's almost like an investment of punches. You're willing to take 3 to land a big one upstairs. To me, that is not a good boxing style, because it's all about hitting and not getting hit, but sometimes that's your recipe to win.
Referee Talwut Plum Samran just telling Adli to keep his head up. Don't crouch down too much. A few jabs being landed there by Adli. Rattawut, though, with a short right hook.
And the great thing about that double jab and even the triple jab is it allows your opponent to shell up, because you can't just not react to jabs. You've got to react some way or another. And Adli, with his speed and with his length, can definitely afford to for a double and triple jabs. Very nice, but he needs to follow it up with a left hand to the head or to the body as well, or else his opponent isn't going to worry about anything.
Short left hand there from Rattawut on the inside.
I feel like Rattawut is just doing what you mentioned. He's willing to take a few shots to land that big one, but he's also just trying to out-muscle Adli. Now, when you're against a slick fighter, and look, Adli's a slick fighter, the best thing you can do is smother them and try and bully them.
And Rattawut doing exactly that, Jimmy. Dirty boxing from Rattawut and punching as soon as he creates some separation in the clinch. Just taking that little step back, create an extension with your arms and throwing the left hand down the middle. Really like what I'm seeing so far from Rattawut.
Well, if you remember when Floyd Mayweather was fighting Maidana in their first fight, Maidana is not that skilled of a boxer, but he smothered the skillful Floyd Mayweather and was nearly able to actually win that fight. And that's what we're seeing. We're seeing a dirty style of boxing. He's flirting with the rules, so to speak, and doing everything he can. So that's a very nice move to try and beat a slick boxer.
Rattawut on the front foot. Taking his time to land a punch. Good body shot there from Adli as he goes for a little walk into his own corner.
It's a good move. Get yourself in the corner. Try and get some advice. Use your corner. Remember, although you're in that ring by yourself, your corner is there to help you as well. And a very nice slip and a move. But look, Rattawut, although he's not boxing pretty, he is doing the right thing against a skillful boxer.
Okay, that's the end of round 2. Replays coming up shortly, then we will begin round 3. Who are you liking in this title fight at home? Do you favour Rattawut in the blue corner from Thailand, or do you favour Adli Hafidz in the red corner from Malaysia?
So we're seeing these action replays where the fighters are just basically engaging in the clinch. Now, this fight has been a lot more than just clinch work. It's been scrappy, it's been sloppy, but it's been entertaining. Now, we've seen with the judges earlier on, they are favoring close distance and they are favoring aggression. So I wouldn't be surprised if these judges are seeing it for Rattawut. Personally, I like Adli. I like the way he boxes on the back foot. He flicks the jab, he doubles it, he triples it, and he sends that left hand down the middle. Rattawut could win this fight if he keeps roughing him up.
But to be honest, Jim, touching on what you said there with what the judges want to see, I can't even keep up with the judges this afternoon. We've had 3 different teams of judges today from the ABF, WBO, and WBC, and they've all scored the fights differently. I mean, saying so, WBC normally favor aggression over anything in their scoring. And then the others, well, you can see from the fights that we've had today, it's been very different in what the judges are looking for. But like the saying goes, try not to leave it to the hands of the judges.
Yeah, it definitely seems to be something in the air, and it just so happens that that day, that's what people are seeing more than the other. But a beautiful sticking jab through the middle that got the attention of Rattawut, and Adli needs to find his confidence and believe in that jab with the backhand.
Jab down the middle from Rattawut as well as a left hand to the body.
He's boxing on that back foot now. Adli waiting for his opponent, almost dancing around like a Tommy Hearns with his hand very low and flicking that jab out, but he needs to get active as well. He's got the style of Tommy Hearns in a southpaw stance, but he needs to be more active and he needs to be more powerful with those left hands.
But this is way better from Adli, though. He's much more springier, able to shift his weight and land his own shots at will, like that double jab right there. Way better from Adli in the red corner.
Is Rattawut biding his time? Is he getting his breath back, or is he going to start coming alive in the last 30 seconds of this fight and really rough Adli up? But I'm liking what I'm seeing so far of Adli. He's doing what he needs to do. I'd like to see him start feinting that jab as well.
I mean, Rattawut just doesn't want to let Adli have this much momentum. Needs to make sure he keeps on stalking him and doesn't let him dance around like this, especially edging off to the right. Just creates more space for him to land more attacks and plan more attacks.
Beautiful lateral movement, but he's got to be very careful because as soon as he gets in range, Rattawut will charge in. Rattawut isn't scared to take a shot to give you a big one as well. So as much as I love seeing this style of boxing from Adli, he's got to be careful that Rattawut doesn't just step, trip him, and then throw that big hand upstairs, because that's what Rattawut should be doing, trying to trip his opponent and throw that hand upstairs.
Rattawut trying to close distance. Great left hand landed there from Rattawut, and that puts Adli down to the canvas, but referee Tawut saying that he got pushed down. That was not ruled a knockdown, even though I was very convinced, Jim.
Yeah, it's one of those situations where it probably was a knockdown, but if you weigh down on your opponent, you're basically forcing him to the canvas with an illegal thing as well. So I think that's exactly why the referee wanted to call it that way. However, I think it could have been a knockdown too. But that's what we were talking about, Ali. Adli dancing very calmly, and then he ate the shot we were talking about.
Yeah, he definitely did, but he's right back to his feet. If he was hurt, he's definitely showing a good poker face at the moment. Great left hand connects there for Adli as he steps away onto the other side of the ring, making Rattawut chase him.
You've got to be very careful when you send those jabs out, because the thing with Adli is he's doing very well with the jabs, but he's also exposing his chin when he dances around, which is very open to a big shot. So as you could see, Adli early on in that round was just, to me, absolutely dominating. He was going upstairs, he was going downstairs, and then towards the end, we saw Rattawut close the distance, and like we said, he would try and land a big shot, and there it was. And this is what we were talking about, Ali. He landed that big shot upstairs, but then he pushed down on his opponent, which is why the referee didn't call it a knockdown. I think if you called it a knockdown, we would not disagree with you, but it was very nicely done by the referee, and that's what I'm talking about. This is one of the best referees. He knows how to spot these things in the heat of the moment.
Okay, well, we are heading now into our next round, and Adli really has come to life. It came to life a lot in the previous round. We're going to round 4 right now.
It's definitely a battle of the rhythms right now. Adli is the smooth jazz player, and of course his opponent, Mr. Rattawut, is the drummer, and he's trying to smash down on his opponent, who is just trying to dance away with smooth rhythms. We will see how it goes down in just a moment.
An aggressive start from Rattawut in the blue corner.
Adli now back on that back foot, but he's got a higher guard, which means he's starting to respect Rattawut's power, and Adli needs to do this. Keep a high guard, flick the jab, and then grab when he can. The thing that Rattawut is doing, he's just trying to outmatch his opponent. When you can't beat him with skill, beat him with slop.
Jab to the body there from Adli. Very stiff jab from the man from Malaysia.
Fantastic jab to the body. Stepped in with it as his opponent walked towards him. Just a beautifully timed jab.
Adli again trying to plan his next attack, being a very good outside fighter at the moment, lying on his feet, controlling the outside with his jab.
And that's what I'm not understanding right now. Adli had his opponent coming at him but didn't throw that check hook. When your opponent is charging towards you, throw that check hook and step with it, and it'll land powerful.
Well, he definitely threw a short hook there. Wasn't a check hook though, because he didn't step off to his right-hand side. And Rattawut just ruffling his feathers yet again, rattling his cage on the inside, making this a dirty fight, like you said, trying to beat him with slop, and that's what we're getting, Jimmy.
Yeah, Rattawut's doing what he needs to do. He's fighting like Maidana. He's just making it close and personal. He's not trying to outbox his opponent. He knows he's not going to win by outboxing him, but he can outmuscle him, and he can land a powerful shot. He probably believes he can knock his opponent down after he did in that last round. So this is something he's got to do, believe in his power and just give it everything he's got.
Bit of a stalemate between these two. Who's going to break it first? Adli feinting, trying to land the jab. Rattawut lands his jab first, though.
Interestingly, Rattawut lands a jab in a moment like that. You'd expect Adli to be the man with the jab that lands clean. Very nicely done by both fighters, but as you can see, Rattawut just keeps coming towards you. He does not give up. The referee pries them apart now. A very nice round by both of these fighters, but Adli, to me, is definitely edging it so far.
Left hand there from Rattawut. Adli trying to clinch him up.
And notice every time he clinches, he's almost grabbing him by the waist, which is a sign of fatigue and also frustration. But Rattawut, look what he's doing. He's constantly pushing down. He's trying to tire out the slickster that is Adli. A very good move, but a very dirty one.
Left hand by Rattawut, 2 in a row. It didn't look like they connected very well. And that is the end of round 4. We head into round 5 shortly, but we have the replays for you first.
Adli doing what he needs to do, but also Rattawut, to me, is just slowly but surely closing the distance. We saw that short, chopping left hand by Rattawut in that round. And Adli's got to be very careful he doesn't eat too many of those. There was that check hook we were talking about as well. I'd like to see Adli utilize that check hook, use the jab, use the check hook, and throw that stinging sniper shot whenever you see the target available. Rattawut, to win this fight, just needs to keep going to the body, going to the head, and just going forward.
Okay, we are all set for the next round. The question I keep asking that hasn't been answered yet, is Rattawut going to be able to keep up this pace for the rest of the fight?
I think yes. I think he's got the ability because he doesn't throw that many shots. He throws what's necessary to him, and he doesn't throw punches and bunches. He just throws big shots and wears his opponent down. He's tiring Adli out. We're going to go to some live scoring in just a moment, Ali, as well, which is something we like to see. The live scores of what is happening right now.
Wow, interestingly enough, the blue corner is edging this fight right now. We're just getting close to the halfway mark, and one judge is scoring it a draw, the other scoring it to Rattawut by 1 point, by 2 points, sorry, by 2 rounds.
So we do have the live scoring here. In the red, we've got 38-38 for the second judge, 37-39, and for the third judge, 37-39. So 2 judges are actually giving it to the blue corner so far, which is exactly what we're saying.
Yeah, and a bit of surprise. I mean, you'd think fans at home thinking that Adli's boxing smart on the outside, but really, just break it down for us, Jim, is what he's doing is good tactic. Great left hand there from Rattawut.
And this is what we were talking about. Will Rattawut tire, or will Adli be able to dance his way to the victory? And I think this is what we're seeing very typically tonight, is the fighter that marches forward, the fighter that takes it to them, is the one that's going to win the fight. And I understand it from both sides. I like to see the beautiful skill of boxing of hit and not get hit. But right now, the person who is aggressive is being favored. And Adli is just being muscled to the canvas several times by Adli. The referee could even give him a warning here because he's definitely pushing his opponent.
Well, it looks like Adli's really going to take some risks now. We know he's got a good jab and a good right hook, but needs to start building his combinations behind it, or he's going to fall further behind. On 2 judges' scorecards, he's 2 rounds down.
I like what he said there, building the combinations, because that's what he needs to do. He's landing good shots, but he's not following it up with the necessary combinations. He needs to start putting pieces together because he's just getting bullied. He needs to just keep he needs to keep Rattawut guessing. He needs to tire Rattawut out with feints and jabs. Adli just trying to dance himself away from that big left hand of his opponent, but can you stay away from long?
Rattawut shrugging it off. Great combination to the body there from Adli as he ties him up in the clinch.
It's kind of like that classic film known as The Blob or The Slime, where slowly but surely it just comes towards you and there's nothing you can do to stop it, and that is what we're seeing. Adli, to me, is also just taking a knee in that moment. He is exhausted as well.
Hook there from Rattawut as he pushes Adli back. This has been another great round for Rattawut, having a real dirty fight. And it sounded like there for a second that one of them was crying in pain, and I didn't think they were going to get up, but they do. That's the end of the round, and here come the replays.
So as you saw here, Rattawut just relentlessly doesn't throw anything in a traditional boxing sense. He just throws what he has. He puts mince behind the shots. He is scrappy, but he just puts pieces together. And that is just something that people need to learn, is you can't wait too long. You can't wait for that perfect moment. You just have to take the fight to them. Even if it doesn't hit clean, give it to your opponent. Do what you can. It's a very nice round, but Ali, on your unofficial scorecard, and let's pretend you didn't see the official scorecard, who would you think is winning this fight?
To be honest, I think I'd say Adli would be winning it on the outside, just controlling the fight with his jab, but I guess that's why I'm a commentator, Jimmy, and not a judge.
An ex-fighter as well, Ali, and I totally agree with you. I think Adli should be at least a little bit more ahead than he is, but I can also understand it from both perspectives. I like Adli's style. I like the jab, stick and move style, but again, it's not enough to win.
Unfortunately not. Jab again on the outside. Jab to the body from Adli, who really needs to start landing his power punches with the jab.
So as you can see, he's really just bullying him now. He's holding the center of the ring. And a big left hand sends him into the center of the ring. And it looks like Adli is just looking a little bit desperate as well, because he's got this big brute of a man in front of him who is not going down, and he's making it dirty. It's a difficult fight for Adli.
Great right hook there, connects flush for Rattawut. And Adli trying to tie him up in the clinch, succeeding at that.
And you saw Adli put him in a headlock and hit him on the top of the head. So finally, the slickster Adli is starting to get frustrated with the antics of Rattawut, because Rattawut has been boxing very dirtily. He's been doing a lot of things you're not supposed to do. He's making it scrappy, but the same thing, Rattawut can only win by boxing this way.
Here we go, halfway through the round now. Adli trying to land a body shot. connected, but not as smoothly as you'd want it to.
And we can see the well underneath the left eye of Adli, which means these shots are now starting to get through and really hurt Adli. If that eye starts to close up, it'll be a very difficult time because he won't be able to see that right hook or jab coming towards him. The referee pries him apart once again. It's been a very sloppy affair in this round, definitely a wrestling match as well.
Jab from Rattawut. We've entered the final minute of round 6.
And as you said, can Rattawut keep this pace up? And like I said, I don't think he's attempting to keep any pace up. I think he's only going to throw what he can see. He's an opportunist fighter, and I think he'll just keep this slow, sluggish style till the end and do anything he can to flirt with the rules of boxing.
Well, you just shouldn't change the winning formula, should you, Jimmy? And Rattawut is just sticking to his guns, sticking to his strategy, and it's worked so well for him.
Every time he gets Adli against the ropes or in the corner, he just delivers the most vicious of shots. Adli still dancing away, and I would like to see Rattawut just step in there, double step, and just land that big shot upstairs, because if he lands it, it would be good night, Irene.
Less than 10 seconds to go now. Rattawut landing that left of the body, tying Adli up in the clinch, pushing him away, and that is the end of round 6. We're going to round 7 shortly, but we'll get the replays for you first.
Adli must be exhausted. Everything he's done, he has not been able to keep Rattawut away from him. Rattawut, like I said, doesn't throw the most traditional style shots, but he is always in your face. He is always there, and when he's close, he is just roughing you up. It's a rough and tumble, and I think he realizes now, Adli, that he's definitely got his work cut out for him, because when you're a tall fighter with a jab, you're very used to being able to just jab your way through the ring. You're very much used to just being able to dance yourself through the victory, and he's not being able to do that so far. He's now met his match, which is Rattawut.
Yeah, we still have 4 more rounds to go to determine who's going to be the new WBC Asia Continental Light Heavyweight Champion. We saw earlier on that Adli was 2 rounds down on 2 judges' scorecards. Another judge gave it a draw. Who have you got it scored to at home?
Very interesting scorecards at the moment, and I think it's exactly what we like to see. We don't want everybody to see fighting the exact same way. It's good to have different opinions.
Rattawut just smirking at the body shot attempt there from Adli. And Rattawut, for sure, just needs to keep going to the body against Adli.
Absolutely, just wear and tear, take him out. You know, the old saying goes, work the body and the head will fall. The bigger they are, the harder they fall as well. And I think Rattawut has just done exactly what he needs to do to frustrate Adli enough.
Great left hand connects there for Adli. He didn't fully extend it, but it was enough to get Rattawut's attention to secure it with the clinch.
A fantastic left hand, perfectly timed, beautifully done. But he needs to do more of that if he wants to win this fight. As we know, the judges are not necessarily on your side in these situations. He needs to put these combinations together, as you said earlier, Ali.
Needs to really go for broke now. Great combination there from Adli. Rattawut, though, with the overhand left, and that brought his corner to life.
It looked like a slip there, but the corner are going wild, thinking that he may have rocked him, but I think it was just a slip in that icy corner. Adli doing a good job again, staying out of range and just flicking that jab, but he eats a left hand and gives one back, Ali. What a fight!
That connected so clean, Jimmy, right on the jaw of Adli. And Rattawut still coming forward, just popping out that jab. He really is making this fight a nightmare for Adli so far, who's tried to sort of contain Rattawut with his jab on the outside and check hook, but we haven't seen that check hook at all in this round, Jimmy.
We also haven't seen feints as well, and look at the moment. Adli is on the outside of the ring. He's got his fighter in the center of the ring, but he's not feinting him. He's not tiring him down. Feints will tie your opponent and allow you to set up other combinations. Adli needs to throw the feints as well before he throws that left hand.
Adli light on his feet. Really liked his approach in the earlier rounds. I think it was round 3 where he was very light on his feet, very explosive. Looks like we're seeing a shadow of his former self here right now, but is it too little too late?
He was very much light on his feet in the early rounds when you have the energy and the confidence, but when you go up against someone like Rattawut, you start to fade when you realize that you're not going to be able to dance your way to victory, and you're in a rough and tumble as well, because Rattawut is dirty. And there we see it again. Adli goes to the canvas as quickly as possible, and I don't know if that's just because he wants to and get some breath back, or Rattawut is just incredibly strong.
Even though it's not scored a knockdown, you got to wonder if this round's close, if that's going to go against Adli.
It's got to play into it, of course, in the judge's mind. But a nice combination, but he doesn't push again, and I think that is because he's scared of the power.
That's the end of round 7. We were going to round 8 very soon, but we have the action replays coming up first.
So we saw these action replays. Adli going to the body, having some great success when he goes downstairs and upstairs, but I think it's the belief Adli doesn't have, which is why he might be losing this fight. He needs to just believe in his combinations, believe in his range, and accept you're gonna get wet if you're getting a swimming pool, but you need to just go for it. He doesn't need to be scared of getting hit by Rattawut. He's taken his best shots and hasn't gone down. Just Ali, the one thing you might know is if someone is trying to bully you, the one thing you have to do is bully them right back. You've got to bully the bully.
Yeah, you got to fight fire with fire sometimes. And I mean, you just can't expect to... It's the definition of insanity, Jimmy. Trying the same thing over and over again and expecting to get the same result, but failing at it. The jab's working for you. Yeah, that's fine. But you need to put something else ahead of it. A left hand, a right hook. Go to the body more. We're seeing not enough from Adli, really. You can understand why the judges had it to Rattawut in just before the halfway stage of this fight.
Yeah, I think that was perfectly put, because you get to a point where are you trying to survive the round or are you trying to win the fight?
But it looks like he's just trying to survive the fight at the moment and hoping for that one shot that he can tee up with his jab.
Unless you've got equalizer power, you can't do that. And we've just seen a jab with a left hand followed up by Rattawut. Who would have thought he could have done that?
And with every round, Rattawut just gains more and more confidence, and that is not good for Adli. But that is better from Adli, though. Right hook and left hand connects for him.
When he believes in himself and he puts the combinations together, Adli is definitely a man to be messed with. And that's exactly where he needs to be. But as soon as he gets involved in the clinch and he connects and stays close with Rattawut, he starts to freeze up and get a little bit intimidated by the bully that is Rattawut.
Those 3 combinations in the last minute have got to be the best combinations Adli has thrown so far, because he's throwing them with confidence and he's letting his shots go. He's catching the attention of Rattawut. Rattawut wants to wrap him up in the clinch to stay out of trouble, Jimmy. This is a lot better from Adli. Let's see if he can pull it out of the bag.
Absolutely. The combinations, once he puts them together, he's had great success.
Oh, he's down!
And that was a check hook. The check hook that we said should land. The referee has called it the knockdown. Was it a slip? Interestingly, but a check hook sends him to the canvas, and it's the first check hook he's really threw, and it worked perfectly.
I thought that hit him right on the button. It caught him well. It was a flash knockdown, and it was on the turn as well. So let's see if Adli can go in for the kill now and claw this back in round 8. Here he comes.
This is the spark he needed. This is the confidence boost he needed. He's got the power to knock him down, but Rattawut doesn't want to give him any chance. And there's another check hook. Exactly what he needs to do.
Rattawut walking down Adli as much as he can, trying to get one back on him, pushing him down to the canvas. You got to wonder if Rattawut has got a bit of Muay Thai experience behind him, because that looked like a little bit of clinch there.
It's also very dirty, and the referee should be warning him.
Whoa, big left hand connects there for Rattawut to the head of Adli as he keeps on marching him down.
Beautiful stuff. I love this type of boxing. We've got skill against a brawler. We've definitely got a great fight on our hands. Adli the slickster, but he's against the brawler that is Rattawut. Will the bully let himself get bullied?
Left hand to the body from Rattawut. Adli using that check right hook to get out of trouble.
The combinations, when he puts them together, land so clean. And I think Adli has now got to look at this as like, look, he's definitely fighting dirty against me. I'm not going to complain. I'm going to do it right back to you. When Adli puts combinations together, he does incredibly well.
Adli trying to land one last combination before the end of the round. Tying himself up in the clinch. And that is the end of round 8. The best round for Adli so far. The most dramatical as well. Let's see that knockdown again on the replay.
I love that round. That was a beautiful round. The crowd are on their feet, and we're going to see it hopefully in these replays. So both fighters were just giving it everything they've got inside the pocket, doing everything they could. And look, like you said, when he gets the combinations going, he does very well. And there was that check hook, perfectly timed on the temple, that sent him to the canvas. Let's see it one more time. Yes, it was a perfect check hook, and that's what we wanted to see earlier on, Ali. We spoke about the check hook would have been effective.
Well, it's a matador versus a bull at the moment, Jimmy. Rattawut being the bull and Adli being the matador.
Judge number 2 scores this 76.
Okay, we're having the scores being read out by our MC, Mr. Teddy Mulgrave. As soon as he's finished, we will get a hand on them straight away. And over to you, Jimmy, with the scores.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, so the red corner and the blue corner, we're going to give you the scores in just a moment. Judge number 1, 76-75 red. In the judge number 2, 76-75 red. And in the third judge, 75-76 blue. We've got an even fight so far.
So it all depends on these last 2 rounds. Rattawut was 2 rounds up earlier on in the halfway stage in the fight. And then Adli has clawed his way back into it, making it way more interesting. This has got to be the closest technical fight that we've had so far on Highland Boxing Promotions, Jim.
Yeah, beautiful fight, and it's exactly what we want to see. Look, Rattawut isn't the most technical boxer, but he's still in there with a technical master such as Adli, and that's what you like to see. You don't have to be the most skilled boxer to stand a chance. Anyone can fight. And Adli dancing around, but I like these fights. I like it when they're close.
Adli trying not to risk too much, but I really don't think this is a good tactic for him, Jim. I feel like he wants to edge away a little bit, step laterally, and then engage.
Yeah, I mean, he's one knockdown away from losing. If there wasn't that knockdown, it wouldn't be this close, would it? It was that knockdown that pretty much secured the slight edge to Adli, and he cheeky left hand once again.
Rattawut sign of frustration there on his face, especially with that action there with the cheap shot.
Yeah, I mean, those cheap shots, he's literally doing everything he possibly can to try and win this fight. Although I can't say I support it, definitely makes a dramatic fight.
Left hand to the body there from Adli. Rattawut fires back with his own left hand to the body.
Adli now coming in with the high guard, no longer dancing around the jab. He means business. Adli needs to flick those combinations out. Just keep flick. He landed a beautiful jab. He needs to keep that jab going.
And there's a slip there, it looked like, from Rattawut, but getting up very slowly.
When you're tired, going to the canvas just takes that ever bit more time to get back up again. And a big left hand landed by both fighters there, Ali, in the pocket.
But Rattawut chasing Adli. Adli just going low, but also falling to the canvas. Complaining that he got pushed down to it, but at the end of the day, Jim, he did drop his body weight down, so you're not surprised that he fell straight down to the canvas as well.
Yeah, it goes both ways. Of course, Adli, I think, is getting a little bit unlucky now, because I think the referee should be warning the opponent that you can't keep doing that. You can't just keep roughhousing your opponent to the canvas.
Rattawut still on the front foot. It's going to be interesting to see which fighter they've given this round to. The judges ringside. That's the end of round 9. We go into the 10th and final round. This has been an absolute barn burner of a fight. Very tactical. Let's go to the replays.
We might even see a draw at this moment in time. Adli doing very well. I think Adli edged that round on my unofficial scorecard. And even there, you saw he dodged the hook by throwing his own hook at the same time. Adli boxing beautifully, but I think he might have just met his match at the moment with someone like Rattawut. Regardless of what happens in this fight, Adli needs to look at this, research it, and basically just try and adapt after this fight, because he can learn so much.
Okay, well, we know that just at the end of round 8, Adli was just 1 round up on 2 judges' scorecards.
Only marginally. It's still very, very close.
And this is the round where you've really got to leave it all on the line. The question is, I don't think you should play it safe at all. I think you should just fight fire with fire. I'm talking about Adli here. If he really wants to claw his way back into this fight and be the new champion, he's got to go for it.
If Adli believes he won that last round, he can maybe cruise, but I wouldn't leave it to chance. I'd give it everything I've got and just give everything I can to try and defeat the man in front of me, and that's what we're seeing right now. The crowd are going wild, Ali, and we see it again. He pushes him to the canvas.
And if anything, that's just going to frustrate Adli even more. Jab from Adli on the outside. Rattawut landing with the straight left as they get tied up in the clinch. The clinch is definitely something we don't want to see too much of, Jimmy, in this fight, in this round.
Round number 10, the final round. We know it's very close. It could either be a draw or slightly edged towards Adli at this point. A beautiful combination. Right hook downstairs, followed up by a left, but we need to see more of that from Adli.
Adli tying up Rattawut yet again in the clinch. We've got less than 2 minutes to go. Left hand connects for Rattawut. Mouthpiece is out. Not sure whose it is.
This favors Rattawut very much, but Adli is winning this round in my view so far. Anything Adli can do to waste time is good for him. A close round for sure, but I think Adli is winning.
Adli uppercut to the body and overhand left. Rattawut left straight. They go back into the clinch yet again. The corners, rings, the corners for both boxers are going absolutely berserk at the moment.
I think this fight is close enough where if Rattawut gets a knockdown, we could be seeing a draw on the scorecards. It is very interesting of what we're seeing right now. And as I say, a left hand lands clean. Adli hands on for dear life.
Less than 50 seconds to go now in the 10th and final round. And Adli gets pushed down to the canvas. Is the referee going to rule that as a knockdown?
The referee calls it a slip. Oh,
and Rattawut going back into the kill and pushing Adli down again. The referee calling it another push.
What a drama we are seeing. Drama in Bangkok.
Referee Thongram Thongram really has had his hands full in this championship matchup.
But it goes both ways. Adli is grabbing his opponent, and you can't just keep hugging him. So Rattawut is doing what he can. It's a very interesting matchup. One is clinching and one is throwing.
Jab from Adli. Rattawut with the overhand left.
I'm not sure why Rattawut was celebrating there, because Rattawut was told he was losing. I don't know why he took his time in that final moment. He should have just gone for it. Ali, on your unofficial scorecard, who won that fight?
I think unofficially I've got to give it to Adli. I think round 9 and that 10th round, he was the more accurate of the two. And just touching on what you said earlier about Rattawut, it's just a typical Thai thing at the end of a fight, especially in 5-round Muay Thai. You sort of take your foot off the gas, show a bit of sportsmanship, you chill a bit. Sabai, Thai way. But you, Jimmy, quickly, who have you given this to?
Look, unofficially, Adli. I think he was boxing clean. He did what he needed to do. And I like Rattawut's style. I like it. I like someone who gets rough and gets in there. But mine.
After 10 rounds of an absolute war, we go to the judges' scorecards for a decision. Judge number 1 scores this 94-95. Judge number 2 scores this 94-95. Judge number 3 scores this 93-96. A unanimous decision for your winner, blue corner, Rattawut Boon Intar, and the new WBC Asia Continental light heavyweight champion.